Do you ever have that moment where something unexpected comes up that completely throws your plans into disarray? If you are a planner and had been anticipating those plans for quite some time, you might be hesitant to create long-range plans or even a vision that extends past next month. Even if you aren't a planner, but had your quickly thrown together plans unceremoniously dashed, you may still be hesitant to create long-range plans or even a vision that extends past next month. What's the point? You might be thinking. And I get it. Honestly, I had this happen this past week as I was finalizing my plans for 2022. But here I am back again this week, sharing the importance of thinking strategically about your goals and vision for your health coaching business. It is easy to be disappointed or hesitant to make plans, especially after the last 2 years have shown us that planning means being prepared for the unexpected and knowing that it can all change in a heartbeat. So today, let's keep it simple and find the middle ground. Flexible planning that allows for life's speed bumps, yet helps us to stay focused and moving forward. I'm Dr. Maura, and this is the Coaching Hive podcast. Last week in episode 46, I shared the idea of thinking about your upcoming year and identifying 3 main pillars that you would like to focus on in your business. These provide a strong foundation and often can be accomplished in a multitude of ways. Remember, I just said flexible planning is the key to thinking about the upcoming year. Today, let's break this down just a little bit further. And as with last week's episode, I'll keep this one short since you're likely looking forward to a little bit of quiet time as the year winds down. But before we wind down, let's talk about the quarterly goals. It is really important to take those 3 big pillars and think about where you'd like to focus. Think about how those pillars can be accomplished. After all, you don't go from start to finish without some stuff happening in the middle. How will you make those pillars become your reality at the end of the year? And the honest answer is slow and steady effort and progress. Your big pillars won't be accomplished overnight, just like you can't run a marathon just because you wake up one morning and decide, oh, sounds like a good plan, I'll run a marathon. But here's the thing, just like with marathons, these big pillars can be accomplished if you pay attention to them, persist through the challenges, and make some plans. Here's what I'd like you to do. This is something that I do every year, and it's something that I did with even more intention this year. Take a look at each of the pillars you've identified, and one by one, think about how you can work toward them throughout the year. In other words, how could you break down each pillar into 4 parts? Think quarters of the year. What happens when you do this is that you gain insight into your time. You are going to make more progress with your whole business in mind and the outcome for the year. Taking this first step is kind of fun. You might not be thinking so. You might even be groaning about breaking down these pillars into 4 segments or quarters. But here's the thing. You get to be creative as you think about all of the ways that you can bring the pillar to fruition. Remember, I started out today by saying sometimes things happen. You have no warning, and it can completely change everything. Well, when you plan for the pillars in a way that you are exploring the different possibilities, these unanticipated shakeups have less lasting impact. Yes, they can change the trajectory a little bit, but there are already other paths in your mind for still accomplishing the pillar you outlined. Now imagine if you didn't take this time to think about the different ways to achieve a pillar of your plan. That shakeup might feel more catastrophic or insurmountable. You wouldn't have identified other ideas as possible avenues for the pillar. But because you did explore and plan this quarterly breakdown, now you have more flexibility and greater insight into the possibilities. This shakeup comes with a little bit more ease because you have other ideas in mind. Doesn't that sound nice? Now, as you think about your quarterly options, keep in mind not just these pillars, but all of the important things that already exist on your calendar. You might have time blocked off for birthdays, holidays, rest, vacations, maybe just plain mental health days. Those need to get booked in before you decide on what to accomplish each quarter. In fact, they may inform even more what the path looks like that you choose for that quarter. If you know you have a big quarter ahead because there are 5 family members with birthdays to celebrate, you have a vacation, you know you have a conference to attend, well, then your business goals for that quarter toward the pillars will likely be a little bit smaller. Now, if you think back to episode 46 last week, are you starting to see a theme as we build from week to week? You start with this big picture, you slowly zoom in, but you're always staying flexible, staying open to the possibilities and aware of the balance that must exist to stay healthy and energized in your business and in your personal life. Now, I promised you a really short episode since we are nearing the end of the year. You have planning to do, and you're likely spending some time with your friends or family or in quiet reflection. So here is a quick recap of what we just talked about. I told you, I'm keeping it short. Take your pillars from episode 46. And if you haven't listened to episode 46, go back. It's not very long. Take a listen to that and then come back here and listen to this episode again. So take your pillars from episode 46 and begin to break down how you might accomplish them throughout the upcoming year. What are the different avenues you could take? And then begin placing those paths into each quarter of the year, recognizing that some quarters may see more progress because you simply have more time available or more resources available. This is the beauty of planning this way. You can identify a way to make steady progress toward achieving the pillar. And you'll know upfront that there is not a single way to do this. Now, more than ever, you have to be flexible with your plans. It's not always easy to build in that flexibility, but I promise you that thinking about the different ways you can accomplish your pillars now will make the challenging times easier to manage and move through. If this quarterly planning is feeling really good, you are feeling solid about it, and you're feeling perhaps a little ambitious, go ahead and break this down a bit further into maybe the monthly ideas that you'd like to pursue. You don't have to do that right now. This is something that you can wait until you get to the actual quarter and break it down based on where you're at in the moment. But if you want to go ahead and say, get the first quarter of the year broken down into months, that is certainly something you can do here. And you use the exact same process. Think about all of the different ways you could achieve that quarter's work or work toward the pillar, and then see what makes the most sense. If you're like me, keep track of those other ideas that maybe you're not using right now, because when things do shake up a little bit, having a written list of the ideas that you previously went through can make choosing a new path that much easier. So you don't have to do that part right now. You don't have to look at the individual months right now. That's certainly something you can save as you get closer to each quarter throughout the year. But breaking it down by quarter does give you that sense of doability. Yes, I know that's not a word. It gives you that sense of being able to do this, to accomplish this big pillar, because here you've already broken it down into 4 smaller processes. As you go through this specific process of breaking your pillars down into the quarterly ideas, don't be afraid to adjust your pillars. Because what happens is as you break down the pillars into 4 quarterly plans or goals, you gain a little bit more insight, more awareness of your needs and the business needs that are upcoming. And that may mean that you go back and you tweak or adjust the pillar just a little bit to be more specific or to be more in tune with where you're headed. So I'd like to invite you to grab your favorite drink, a comfy seat, and a little quiet to begin thinking about your pillars in a creative way, full of possibility, full of opportunity, full of momentum. I can't wait to hear what you've uncovered. Until next time, I hope you have a healthy, safe, and happy week.